Year 1 and welcome to today's story time. Our story today is called George's Dragon and our author is Claire Freedman and Russell Julian. Do you think this story is going to be a fiction or non-fiction? That's right, it will be a fiction because it's definitely a story, and I think it's probably a pretend story. We can also tell because our drawings are like paintings and drawings. They're not real photographs today. The moment George looked into Sparky's big, friendly purple eyes, he knew. "That's the pet I want," he said. You see our speech marks here? There was lots of other pets. Why do you think he wanted this one? "What? That funny looking lizard?" asked George's dad. "Sparky is a baby dragon," explained the pet shop man. But George's mum and dad did not hear. "Please, can I have him? It is my birthday," begged George. "I suppose lizards aren't too much trouble," agreed George's mum. And with a huge smile, Sparky leapt happily into George's arms. Is it really a lizard, Year 1, like his mummy and daddy think? On the drive home, George and Sparky read the leaflet from the pet shop. And the leaflet said, "Your pet dragon. Important information. Dragons come in all shapes and sizes. Now remember, a baby dragon will grow. Baby dragons are still learning how to fly. Remove all fragile objects." Fragile means special objects that may break, so you've got to be gentle with them. "Crash landings are to be expected. Dragons love to practice breathing fire. It is best to start small, i.e. with marshmallow toasting. Beware, accidents will happen." "What's in the leaflet?" asked George's mum. "I hope lizards behave themselves." George looked at Sparky and they both grinned. Now we came across this word in one of our other stories. Grinned is like a big smile. Ta-da! At George's birthday party, Sparky lit all the candles on his birthday cake in one go. And the week that followed was one big happy adventure for George and Sparky. Yo-ho-ho! They played pirates and Sparky made fantastic first friends. Yo-ho-ho! And he made an even better pirate ship. How do you think George is feeling now? Zoom! They played astronauts. Sparky was a brilliant space rocket. But best of all, they loved being together. "Good night, Sparky," George said each night as he climbed into the covers. "Snuggy-goo," yawned Sparky from the foot of George's bed. And neither of them had ever been happier. Can you think of a better adjective for happier? But there was a problem. A growing problem. The lizard had grown huge, gasped George's dad. "He gets bigger and bigger every single day," sighed George's mum. "All pets grow," said George. "You'll stop growing soon, won't you, Sparky?" Sparky breathed in and tried to look smaller. He let his breath out with a whoosh. Can you try that? Why do you think the author has written this all in capitals with an exclamation mark? And accidentally singed the curtains. "Oh, that's another thing," grumbled George's mum. "Everything's covered in scorch marks. Scorch marks is when you burn something and it goes a little bit brown. Can you see here?" "Sparky doesn't mean to do it," George says. "Do you, Sparky?" "No, hot blot," squeaked Sparky, and he hung his head in shame. That's me in Year 1, he was like this. He was feeling really sad. But things got worse, much worse. Everything he sat on, he broke. Snap! Oops! Everything he got excited, he flew, usually a little bit too high. Sizzle! Whenever he tried to help, he set something on fire. Sparky was such a disaster zone. If things don't improve, said George's mum, it's back to the pet shop for Sparky. Never, cried George, hugging Sparky tightly. Nobody knows, whispered Sparky sadly. They could not bear the thought of being apart. Oh no. Can you think of how they're feeling now? And I want an exciting word. I don't want to hear sad. Who can think of another word for how they're feeling? So Sparky tried extra hard to be a good dragon. He helped with some dusting. Crash, smash. There's our onomatopoeia again. He helped bring in the newspaper, but that didn't go very well either. And trying to dry the washing was a terrible mistake. Oh no. Enough, shouted George's dad. Sparky goes back to the pet shop this weekend. But Sparky has to say, George pleaded. He's my best friend. A huge purple tear slid down Sparky's scaly cheek, but George's parents' minds were made up. The next morning, though, something out of the ordinary happened. That means something really different that we wouldn't think was going to happen. The car wouldn't start. How will I get it to work? How will I get to work? Worried George's mum. How will I do the shopping? Fretted George's dad. This is your big chance, Sparky, George whispered. Just be very careful. What do you think they're going to do now? Hop-a-tee-tee, giggled Sparky. George's dad had never enjoyed shopping so much. Oops, sorry. George's mum had a big grin on her face when she came back home that evening. Sparky's been so helpful today, George's dad beamed. He's been wonderful, agreed George's mum. He really is a lovely lizard. Does that mean Sparky can stay now? George asked hopefully. George's mum and dad nodded. Yippee! Yelled George. Dooper boom boom, whispered Sparky, being careful not to open his mouth too wide. Why do you think he didn't want to open his mouth too wide? What happens when he opens his mouth? Well done, the fire comes out, doesn't it? And from that day on, Sparky was an extremely well-behaved dragon. Now we've got our dun dun dun, which means our sentence hasn't yet finished. Most of the time. Uh-oh, what has Sparky done here? He's accidentally lit the barbecue. The end. Now can you have a little think about the story you've just heard, and can you please tell your adult your favourite part of the story, and why was this your favourite part? Have a lovely evening, Year 1, and I'll see you all tomorrow.